Okay, your reserve study's done. Congratulations. So now, do we just close the file and move on to our next project? Of course not. We stand ready to answer all your questions as you absorb your reserve study results and shape your budget for the upcoming year. One of our most popular add-ons with our completed reserve studies is our online reserve calculator called UPlanet. Right next to where you download your completed reserve study is access to UPlanet, a tool that allows you to test adjustments to your reserve study, the components, the starting balance, interest and inflation, or the funding. Just like this webinar series breaks down the reserve study process to help you avoid surprises, UPlanet helps you avoid any unwanted surprises that might pop up if you choose to do something differently than recommended. We call it our Reserve Study Sandbox, where you can safely play with your reserve study results with no fear of causing a catastrophe. The completed reserve study document and UPlanet are how we guide your association to a safe and successful, improved future.
Delivering results. What's that really look like? What are we actually giving to you? And the reserve study provider is going to either, in their terminology, complete the report or publish the report. We call it publishing it and deliver it to the client. I want to say in the olden days, the copier would be working hard. We'd put it in the mail, but for years, we've been delivering the report electronically. At this point in time, we deliver the report online. We shoot an email to the client saying, hey, your reserve study is ready. And I'm going to step away from the PowerPoint here. I'm going to show you what it looks like for us. Okay, this is our website, reservestudy.com. Hopefully you've seen it before. Here under resources is webinars, where you signed up for this webinar. But where we advise you to go to is the Client Center. And so you can log into the Client Center just like you'd log into your bank to look at your bank balance. When you log in, you're presented with your dashboard. And this is the dashboard that a portfolio manager would see. A board member or an on-site manager would only see their property. But this is a portfolio a login sample. And you can look here, you can pick your sample association, and you can see the reserve studies over the years. And you can see the executive summary and the reserve study. Download those things, and I believe I have copies all set up. Slide it from my other monitor, and here's a sample executive summary. Couple pages, highlighted what's going on. Try to make it real clear what your starting point is. Same like when you go to a doctor. They're going to say, this is, you are doing fine. You got some risk factors here, or you have some serious risk factors. And the executive summary table, a summary of what's going on. And we often like to highlight the projects that are at a 0 years remaining useful life. Or the reserve study itself. Reserve study is more pages. This is 34 pages, you can see. This is an update, no site visit. So no pictures here, but contains the executive summary, more text, more graphs, more tables, all the things that you are looking to see and help you understand what's going on at your association. A lot of details. And this report goes from the big picture at the beginning to all the details at the end. Here's all the component information. And I will pop back now to the PowerPoint. So that's how we deliver a reserve study. It's online, again, just like you get when you are looking for your bank balance. You go online to your bank, and the report's going to communicate three things: site inspection results, basically the physical condition of your assets, reserve fund strength, and the funding plan nuances, where you need to go from here. And that executive summary that you get is a summary, just like the word says. This is the kind of thing that you can provide to owners. Many of our clients provide this to owners or post it on their website. Just a couple of pages, just a few pages. Reserve study, first of all, includes that executive summary, but it's full documentation and many more pages. Now, you're going to say, wow, that's a lot of pages. What does this really tell me? Well, what's the meaning? Where do I find this? What does that mean? And what are our alternatives? Good questions. And this is very normal. We talked about revision requests. Pro tip is we welcome all questions. I showed that picture of bananas earlier. This is time dependent. We're trying to help you get your budget done. And these are observations and conclusions that we made at a certain point in time. And so the longer you wait, the longer things change and things become, after a while, ineffective. If your next budget year has already started, then it's kind of late to set the budget for that year. Now, I want to note that most providers offer one revision for free. So that's pretty much standard practice here in our industry. We're trying to, in a timely way, support you with the questions that you have, get you ready to get your next year's budget out. And if there's a change, if you forgot to tell us about another CD that adds another 50 grand to your reserve balance, that's fantastic. That's the accuracy that we're looking for. So tell us that and we'll revise it for free. The different starting balance is our number one reason for revising a report. But still you're going to say, well, what about, how do I understand this? How sensitive is it to whatever? And, we've lived with that for a long time. We're going to let it go a little bit longer. It's kind of like taking a test drive. You see it, but you want to know how it really works. Well, I want to show you one of the after products that we have, one of the accessory offerings that we have for our full update with site visit and update no site visit clients. We call them our professional reserve studies. So again, I'm going to step away from the PowerPoint and go back to this sample association. I've shown you these PDFs, but watch this. UPlanet is our online reserve calculator. Here, your reserve study literally comes alive. You're not changing the reserve study. That's a published document. But you can go in here and change some things. If you have learned that the asphalt provider is going to be able to do this project for $6,000 instead of $8,000, news from ABC Asphalt, you finally got a proposal. That's good news. You think that metal railing is going to last 15 years instead of just 10 years because of the way you do all your great preventive maintenance. Let's change this useful life from 10 to 15. Benefit of good regular painting. All these little tweaks, you can then begin to look at it. What happens if we push out you told us that we did the wood surface repainting. Well, we didn't. That still needs to get done. All these little tweaks, you can then begin to take ownership of this, and you can add that extra $50,000, $196,000. Boy, I wish it was that easy in real life. And with that, you're now getting 1.5% interest from your bank. And you can look on the recommendations. You can now see your reserve funding recommendation was $5,500. That now drops to $5,020, and you wonder, what's it be just to stay cash positive? Well, we click the baseline solver, and to stay cash positive is down to $44.30 per month. This is what you can do here on UPlanet, and you can see all the tables and charts and print them out. Basically, this allows you to take ownership. Some of our clients call it like a flight simulator for their association. And they just are able to touch it and find out where the sensitivities are and go maybe against medical advice, against professional counsel, and say, this is now our working plan. It's a little bit different than a reserve study, but that's what you can do with UPlanet. And it doesn't change the reserve study. This is just your sandbox on how you can get things your way. And pop back to the PowerPoint. Again, just talk about UPlanet. It's the way you get ownership and control over your numbers. No more wondering about what happens if. You can just see for yourself. And that UPlanet, again, is free to our professional clients. Different companies have different offerings. UPlanet is still pretty rare at this point in time. It's user-friendly. You saw me doing it. Calculations are in compliance with National Reserve Study standards. But to look around when you're looking for a reserve study provider. What do they offer? We keep coming back to it. Don't want you to be surprised. The work of being a board member is hard enough, and hopefully this little tour here has been able to show you what the process looks like, the 3 times during the process that we need information from you, the way we welcome questions at the end, and end of product delivering results, what that looks like. And that brings me to the end of my presentation here. A number more resources at reservestudy.com. And not only that, but on YouTube, where we have prior webinars there, and we have prior webinar parts, nice, short, easy to digest tips and techniques and portions of a webinar. So a deep pocket of resources for you that we can provide to you. That brings me to the end of my prepared presentation. So I'll turn you over to Paige, who will coordinate our Q&A time together.
At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.